When people talk about dreams in One Piece, they usually focus on the biggest ones: the One Piece itself, becoming Pirate King, discovering the secrets of the Void Century, or conquering the Grand Line. These are dreams that seem almost impossibly large, and, to be honest, fitting for a world as vast and adventurous as the one Oda created. And it's understandable. One Piece is a story built on ambition. Nearly every major character is defined by something they're chasing, some distant goal that gives meaning to their journey. Dreams are not just a theme in One Piece, they are the engine that drives the entire story forward. Among all these dreams, there is one that has always fascinated me more than the other, and it's not because it's the largest nor the most ambitious. Actually, it appears to be the smallest, and obviously we're talking about WhiteBeard's dream, a family. At first glance, it almost sounds underwhelming. I mean, this is Edward Newgate we're talking about, strongest man in the world, one of the 4 emperors, a pirate whose name shook the entire globe. Yet, while others sought treasure, power, freedom, and knowledge, WhiteBeard wanted something so ordinary that most people barely stop to think about it. He wanted a family. I think that we may have overlooked something very important in this dream. Because the more I think about WhiteBeard's story, the more convinced I become that this dream wasn't one of the simplest in One Piece. I think it was actually one of, if not the hardest. To understand why WhiteBeard's dream matters so much, we first have to understand what dreams represent in One Piece. Ever since the beginning of the story, Oda has always treated dreams with an almost sacred level of importance. Characters can lose battles, lose friends, lose years of their lives, but the moments they abandon their dream, something fundamental dies inside of them. One of the most iconic lines in the entire series comes from Blackbeard, of all people. He said, "A man's dream will never die." It's a quote that perfectly captures the spirit of One Piece. Dreams are what separate the characters who move forward from those who remain trapped in the past. Luffy's dream pushes him across the sea despite overwhelming odds. Zoro's dreams forces him to endure defeat after defeat in pursuit of becoming the world's greatest swordman. Robin survives decades of isolation because she refuses to abandon her desire to learn the truth. The world of One Piece is filled with dreamers. Some dreams of freedom, some dreams of knowledge, some of adventure, some of power. But almost all of these dreams share one thing in common. They're directed towards something far away, a destination, a title, or a discovery. Something waiting at the end of a journey. WhiteBeard's dream is different, and that's exactly why it's so fascinating. Imagine comparing WhiteBeard to the other legends of his era. Goldie Roger reached the final island and conquered the Grand Line. Rockstick Saber solved domination. Big Mom dreamed of creating a nation where every race could live together. Kaido wanted to create the greatest war the world had ever seen. Even Luffy's dream, whatever lies beyond becoming Pirate King, is almost certainly something worth changing. These are enormous ambitions, dreams worthy of legends. And then there's WhiteBeard. A family. That's it. No throne, no kingdom, no treasure, no grand revelation. Just a family. When fans first learn this, they often see it as a proof of WhiteBeard's humility. And while that's certainly true, I think there's another reason the dream resonates with so many people. It's because it's relatable. Most of us will never become Pirate King. Most of us won't uncover a lost civilization or reshape the course of history. But almost everyone understands the desire to belong somewhere. To have people who care about. To have a place you can call home. WhiteBeard's dream feels real in a way that many other dreams in One Piece don't. And that realism hides how difficult it actually is. The key to understanding WhiteBeard's dream is understanding where it came from. Before he became an emperor, before he became the strongest man in the world, Edward Newgate was just a child growing up on Sphinx Island. Unlike many famous locations in One Piece, Sphinx wasn't prosperous. It was poor, isolated, and largely forgotten by the world. Life there was difficult, and from a young age, WhiteBeard experienced a reality that would shape the rest of his life. He had no family. When others revealed this detail, it suddenly made so much of WhiteBeard's character click into place. Because people often spend their lives chasing the things they lack the most when they were young. Someone who grows up poor may pursue wealth. Someone who grew up powerless might pursue strength. And someone who grows up alone may spend their entire life searching for connection. WhiteBeard wasn't chasing some abstract ideal. He was chasing something he had never been given. The family he wanted was the family he never had. And unlike many characters in One Piece, he wasn't trying to build that dream for himself alone. He wanted to create it for others as well. What makes the WhiteBeard pirates unique is that they don't really function like a traditional pirate crew. Most pirate crews are organized around hierarchy. Captain, commanders, subordinates, everyone has a role and a purpose. The WhiteBeard pirates certainly had a structure, but emotionally they operated very differently. WhiteBeard didn't see his crew as soldiers, he saw them as sons, and the distinction matters because soldiers are expected to be sacrificed, family isn't. That's why WhiteBeard constantly places his crew above his own reputation, above his own safety, and sometimes even above logic itself. His ship became a home for people who didn't have one: outcasts, orphans, lost souls, people rejected by the world. From Marco to Ace, everyone found a father. For decades, WhiteBeard succeeded where so many others failed. He transformed an impossible childhood dream into reality. Or, at least, that's what it seemed like, because this is where we reach the part of WhiteBeard's story that I think most people overlook. The moment where his dream stopped looking simple and started looking impossible. Let's ask a simple question. What does it actually mean to have a family? Most people will answer that it means surrounding yourself with people you love. And while that's true, that's only the beginning. Having a family also means responsibility. It means protecting people, supporting them, being there when they need you, and carrying burdens they can carry themselves. Most importantly, it means accepting that their pain becomes your pain. The larger WhiteBeard's family became, the heavier that responsibility grew. Every new son brought another life he felt obligated to protect. Another person he will blame himself for losing. And suddenly, the dream doesn't seem so simple anymore. Because becoming Pirate King only requires one person's success. Having a family requires the safety and the happiness of countless others. The dream was never about finding people. The dream was about protecting them. This is the tragedy at the heart of WhiteBeard's character. He achieved everything that should have made his dream possible. He became unimaginably powerful. He gained wealth, territory, influence, respect, fear. If strength were enough to protect a family, WhiteBeard should have been the most successful person in the entire world. Yet, he still couldn't do it. No matter how powerful WhiteBeard becomes, reality keeps reminding him of a painful truth. Strength has limits. There are enemies you can't stop, mistakes you can't prevent, people you can't save. And suddenly, the strongest man in the world finds himself confronting something his power can't defeat. The vulnerability that comes with loving others. Because the more people you love, the more opportunities life has to urge. And this is why I think Marineford is often misunderstood. People talk about it as a war to save Ace, when on the surface, that's exactly what it is. But on a deeper level, Marineford is the final examination of WhiteBeard's dream. For decades, WhiteBeard had built a family. Now the world was challenging his ability to protect. The Marines weren't simply executing Ace, they were attacking the very thing WhiteBeard valued the most. And WhiteBeard responded exactly as you'd expect. He went to war against the entire world, again not for treasure, power or territory, but for one single son. Think about how absurd that sounds. An emperor of the sea risking everything he has built over decades for a single person. From a strategic perspective, it makes almost no sense. From a father's perspective, it makes perfect damn sense. Because that's what WhiteBeard's dream demanded of him. If family truly came first, then there was never another choice. And then comes the moment that makes WhiteBeard's story so heartbreaking. Ace dies anyway. After everything, after the war, after the sacrifice, after WhiteBeard challenged the strongest military on Earth, Ace still dies. It's one of the cruelest moments in the entire series, because it was something WhiteBeard has spent his entire life fighting against. Sometimes love, sacrifice, and strength aren't enough. You can do everything right. You can dedicate your entire existence to protecting the people you care about, and you can still lose them. This is a reality WhiteBeard could never overcome. Not because he was weak, but because nobody can. Not even the strongest man in the world. In conclusion, I want to point out how when people hear WhiteBeard's dream for the first time, they often think it's small. I mean, a family? Compared to becoming Pirate King, it sounds almost ordinary. But that's exactly why I think it's one of the greatest dreams in One Piece. Because it reveals something that the series understands better than most stories. The most meaningful dreams are not always the grandest ones. Sometimes they're the most human. WhiteBeard didn't want to conquer the world. He wanted to create a home. He didn't want people to fear him. He wanted people to belong. And while many characters spend One Piece chasing a dream that waits them at the end of the journey, WhiteBeard was a dream that had to be protected every single day. That's what makes it so different. And that's what makes it so pure. And that's why, in a world filled with impossible ambitions, the strongest man in the world may have been chasing one of the most impossible dreams of all: family. If you've come to the end and enjoyed the video, then I will consider subscribing, leaving a like and a comment. See you in the next one.